All right, so we watched a little clip from this video with the black Pakistan cobra, but there's a lot of stuff that Tom brings up about venomous snakes and venomous snake keeping. So throughout this, I'm going to pause and show examples as well. So there's going to be a lot of demonstration throughout this video. But this is Dave Kaufman's channel, Dave Kaufman's Reptile Adventure. I'm going to have his channel linked in the description and this original video. So be sure to check him out. Very high quality, very good videos. But let's get to it. Subscribe. And I need to add, do not attempt not only what Tom's doing, but when I do the demonstrations. Okay?
Welcome to the venomous room, or welcome to one of the venomous rooms. This is actually one of the smaller ones, and most of the stuff in here is surplus with the exception of a few things. Venomous snakes have always been, to me, probably some of the most interesting, if not the most interesting reptiles on the planet. Venomous snakes bite you for one reason and one reason only, and that is they're afraid of you. A venomous snake does not attack humans. It will defend itself against humans. It will not attack human beings unless they feel threatened. So if you can see a snake, you're perfectly freaking safe. Because if you can see the snake, all you have to do is just walk away from it.
So I'm going to demonstrate this in a bit. I think Tom demonstrates it first, but I'll bring one or two snakes out to demonstrate it as well. The reason he's saying it's defensive, not aggressive, is because snakes aren't like mammals. They won't pursue and backstab you. They won't come after you for no reason. They'll defend themselves. So a lot of bites, the majority, are people messing with it, trying to kill it, trying to pick it up, things like that. But they're not going to go out of their way to bite somebody. So I'd show you some demonstrations, but I think Tom shows some first, so we'll check that out.
And if you walk away from it, it will not pursue you. I promise you that. I'm going to show you that here in a second with a cobra. Let's just now you see what he did? See how he ran out and stopped? And you have to always expect the unexpected. Did you see how I moved back at just the right moment and just out of the range of the snake? Because if I'd stayed there, he would have bit me on the chest. He's doing that because he's afraid. But because he is afraid, he's not going to sneak up behind me to bite. He's not going to run up and bite me on the neck or anything like that. He's only going to do that when I first open the box. It's just a threat. You follow me?
So just to add on to what he's saying, since it had nowhere to go, it had to try to defend itself. After rewatching it, I don't know if it had its mouth open, so it could have been a mock strike. But either way, it's all defense, defensive display. Now actually I'm going to bring out two snakes right now, show you an example like he just showed about standing with the back turned. Let's see if these snakes will come up behind me and attack me. So there's two things he mentioned. Not only will it not pursue you, but that if you see where it is, that's all you need to know. If you know where it's at, all you have to do is leave it alone. It's really that simple. I see where it is. Just walk away. So simple. That's all it takes. You see, even he's backing up. So if you remember, look at him backing away. This is black Pakistan cobra. When we reacted to that part of the clip with him talking about the black Pakistan cobra, you remember what he said? No anti-venom here in the United States for it. Very toxic. So if I thought for a second that this snake would come from behind and bite me, I'd be foolish to do this. But yeah, you see he's going the opposite direction. This is what I show. He's a great one to use to play into that fear that these snakes are out to get you. But you see, even him being defensive, he'll still try to get away. Sometimes he does just stand his ground like the monocle cobra Tom had out. So as you know, B-Pack, the black Pakistan cobra, very defensive. Usually he stands and holds his ground, but sometimes he'll back away even while being defensive. So this time he chose to back away. Good demonstration. But we're going to bring out another snake to show you, okay? So since it's about to get loud with the next snake, I'm going to just say what I need to say now. I don't know if you'll be able to hear me, but this one's what I consider untouchable. Can't even touch it. I have to use two hooks. She will light you up we're going to see if she'll come backstab me. All right? Well, if you can hear, it's Frostina, the western diamondback rattlesnake. Look at her. She'll stand her ground every time. I don't even know if it's pointless talking. But anyways, she's not going to come up behind me. She'll sit there like this. She may even back away slowly if I gave it enough time. Might just take a nap. And onward we go. I'll stop again soon, I believe, to do another demonstration.
But he's going to watch me. Now I'm going to watch him, so it's all right. But cobras, what I do with venomous snakes mostly is I understand them. He speaks a language that I understand, and when he talks, I listen. And basically, I manipulate him into doing what I want by using the cobra's behavior against himself. Well,
so you hear that about the different behaviors, using it against them. And, you know, snakes, especially depending on what species, they'll give subtle signs. So some people just think that they just react certain ways, but they'll give you signs. Some that give very subtle ones are things like gaboon vipers. Very subtle. Usually in the feel of them. The tenseness of the body that you feel.
Set him right out on the table here. Just reach around and pet him on the head. If I wanted to pin it, I could pin it down like that and get it by the neck. It's all a matter of manipulation. You kind of see the behavior.
So that's what I'm going to demonstrate with a different snake. So I'm going to bring one out, but let me see what he's about to say. Can't remember what he talks about after this, but it might be similar to what I'm going to show. So
Notice now, see, being afraid of me like that, he doesn't advance forward at all. He just like sort of stands there, and if I move, he'll move from side to side, but he's not going to advance towards me to bite. That's why I'm saying, if you're out somewhere walking and you see a snake, that's all you need to know about snakes. You're perfectly safe. Just get the hell away from it. If you get the hell away from it, it's not going to bother you. It's not going to come after you to bite you. They will defend themselves, but that's it. He's a good defensive cobra. He always defends himself, and he sort of has a place in our heart. He'll always be here. We do produce venom from Nyakuthia for a pharmaceutical company called Neutral Pharma. It's used in pain relief, believe it or not, for animals. And there's a lot of research going on also. So anyway, we're eventually going to have, we right now have, I don't know, several hundred monocle.
So they produce, not anti-venom, they extract venom from the monocle cobras. And it's used for pain relief for animals. Pretty amazing stuff. But yeah, let me bring a snake out and demonstrate some things really quick, okay? Now, since I had to have the phone on the ground to capture this next one, the audio is horrible. I'm sorry. I think you could still hear me, but yeah, horrible audio. I'm sorry. So now I have Lila, the monocle cobra, out. You see how close I am to the wall? She can come attack me if she wanted to, but she's not going to. Now, when he touched the back of the head, people, I don't tease, but some people would wiggle their knee, wiggle their head, whatever they want focused on, because the cobras, they're about movement. They'll focus on whatever's moving. They'll touch the back of the head. They'll even do the kiss of death, but they'll wiggle their knee, having the focus. Now, I'm just demonstrating. I know I don't show this type of stuff, but unless I'm doing like the reacting to the past old clips where I used to handle a little differently, but it's just for demonstration, so hopefully I don't upset some of you. You see, I'm not wiggling anything, but I can still come up behind. She's a good girl, isn't she? Look at her. She's so wonderful. My favorite personality-wise. Such a good girl. Back to it.
Cobras here on the venom line, within a year probably we'll have over 2,000 or 3,000. I am 67 years old, and I've been handling venomous snakes for over 50 years, and I've been free handling cobras. First ones I did when I was 18 years old. And I have still never been handling a venomous snake. I've been bitten twice by a venomous snake through a bag. never handling one. In all the years I've been in business, we have had at my...
So, never been bit while handling through a bag. I've mentioned in the past that, bagging venomous snakes, I feel like that's one of the most difficult things. Getting them in a container, like the containers that I transport them inside with, it's very simple. The bags, there's lots of room for mistakes. Now in Florida, I believe you have to double bag it and have it in a sealed container to take it anywhere outside. So if you're transporting it or taking it anywhere, double bagged and in a container.
My business is a grand total. In all the years I've been in business, we have had at my businesses a grand total of 3 venomous snake bites, and one of those included my bite through the bag with a West African green mamba that came from the Milwaukee Zoo that time. It was a dry bite, but I count it still. But there's some interesting.
So you got bit by green mamba through the bag, dry bite. We just did the reaction to the coral snake, this kid's dry bite.
Venomous snakes in here too that you don't normally see. For instance, if you were a soldier in Afghanistan, there are cobras in Afghanistan. They're called Naya oxyana, or transcaucasus cobras, or Russian cobras. The venom of these cobras is certainly one of the most toxic, if not the most toxic, of all living cobras. There is no anti-venom for these here in the United States, so the bite would be fatal. The reason is Iran is the closest place that makes anti-venom, and of course we don't have too much dealings with Iran.
Now, we did watch part of this cobra, but the next cobra is the one that we looked at last time we checked out this clip. But we're going to watch it again because it's my favorite black Pakistan cobra on earth. How beautiful this one is.
So that's about as big as they get. See the narrow hood and extremely virulent neurotoxic venom. I mean, that would kill your heart. It has a really powerful myotoxin that affects the cardiac muscles, and also they have it'll shut your breathing down really quick. This is a black Pakistan cobra. This is one you don't see often either. This would be...
You see? Look at how incredible this one is. Shiny. Yellows. Amazing.
Found in Pakistan. There's no anti-venom for this. The closest anti-venom made for this is in Iran again. The anti-venom made in India for spectacle cobras, which are the same species, is not good against this. The venom is very different than Indian cobra. We're not going to take any chances with this one either. This one will flat kill you.
So the closest anti-venom in Iran, and he mentioned about them being the same species as Indian cobra. Both are naja, but snakes even in the same species, different locations, they can have different color pattern. They can also have different venom, like he mentioned. It's usually related to the prey, the different types of prey. Amazing stuff.
Venom is very toxic. There are 3 things that if you keep hot snakes that you should never do. And if you don't do any of these 3 things, the chances of you getting bit are not very good unless you just do something really stupid. First is, you never ever open a cage with your hand. You always open a cage with some utensil like this. Second of all, you never service that cage until you remove the snake. For instance, I would be stupid to try to reach in and grab that water bowl and take it out with that snake in it. I don't care if it's a little snake asleep in the back corner and I think it's never going to come out. The rule is you open the box with this hook. You take the snake out, put it in this can, take that top and secure it in the can, and then and only then do you clean the cage.
So there have been bites where people, like one that I can think of, a gaboon viper, super fast strike, they explode out of nowhere. It was further away from where the water bowl was. And I guess the person was in a rush, reached in for the water bowl, got bit. Now, that situation is most likely going to be a food response bite because something coming in is probably associating that with food. It's typical first response when opening up an enclosure. So not a good situation. So like he said, best to take the snake out. Doesn't matter how small, take it out, clean the enclosure. Now I'm going to show you something though. I'll show you a demonstration of something.
When you get through, then you put the snake back and secure the cage again. And the third thing, never try to hold one behind the neck. Because most people that do not know how, even the ones that do, and that's probably the best way to get bit of all.
we talk about this all the time. Many of the bites we see on the bite reactions, what is it? Grabbing it behind the head, trying to pin it down. And I always mention, even those that do it as a living, the venom extractors, many of them have only a few fingers. The snake now is definitely scared for its life. It's grabbed behind the head, contained. It's going to defend itself. So, yeah.
So don't do those 3 things. You do not have to be bit by a venomous snake unless you don't have a lick of common sense. And I know they say it's common, but it ain't that common. So,
now I'm going to demonstrate something from what he just said. I think this is, I might end it here because I don't know if there's anything else he says that I can demonstrate. But if you haven't seen this video, you should check it out because he does end it off with something very beautiful. And maybe we'll check that out. Yeah, we'll check that out first, then I'll do the demonstration. But go check out this video. You see with this big albino eastern diamondback, has it open, not doing anything.
I want to know. I see if I let its tail go, it would have fell, and it would scare him. So I don't want to do that. See how I catch his tail? See? Little things like that make a difference. And this is something that most high Harpers never take into consideration at all. Never.
That's a good point too, about when you're letting a snake go, especially like when you're putting it in the can for cleaning out, just letting it go, dropping the tail is something that many people do, but I like to use the hook, let it fall on the hook and lower it down gently. And that's what he was talking about right there with this Bushmaster.
But for me, it's not about me, it's about the snake. And I want to understand them, I want to know them, I want to like them, I want them to be happy, and I want to learn about them. And I never did this for anything other than it's something that I love. It's the only reason I've ever done it. I've never cared about fame, I don't care about any of it. I just really love the animals.
So this is the part that I loved, touched me when I first heard it. Very beautiful.
I love the earth, I love my life. I hope to educate as many people as I can about reptiles and how they're very different than what they think. There's a difference in fear and pleasure is understanding, it's knowledge, it's nothing more than that. And the real key to happiness and tranquility in your life and peace is understanding your world and all of the inhabitants in your world. And once you're able to do that, then you'll of course understand yourself in the process and the rest gets easier. And most of us try to live in the past, or we plan for the future so much instead of living in the now. We plan so much for the future that by the time the future gets here, we've just never lived our life at all. So don't make a mistake and do that. Live your life right now, every day, because that's all you have is the right now. I wake up every morning with...
So that's something I try to live by. There's lots of moments where I'm sure we all can relate, where we're not in the present. You can't even really enjoy an experience. There was times where my first interactions with certain snakes, where my head wasn't there. I didn't really get to experience it. I had the next time being present so I could really enjoy and take in that moment. Simple things, but we can miss a lot of stuff. And yeah, it's just beautiful what he said. And about understanding the animals, about knowledge versus fear. Because if they showed the truth about snakes, the fear that people have, it wouldn't be there. I believe that 100%. So how these animals are portrayed on media, news articles, even on movies or TV shows, they are always made to look like these dangerous, crazy animals that are just out to hurt you. But if the truth was shown, people wouldn't be afraid of them. I believe that. Not nearly as many.
The wonderment of a 5-year-old kid, because I've seen the world for the first time literally, and I am, because you only live in the now, and every day is a different day. And every day of my life I learn, and the more I learn, the less I realize I know. I've only begun to scratch the surface. I have, like that Molly Hatchet song, I have dreams I'll never see, and that makes life really worth living. To have dreams, so many dreams, that you know, even if you lived 150 years old, you'd never be able to do it all. So by God, that means I can just go and go until I just can't.
What's your opinion?
Beautiful. The main thing, go check out Dave Kaufman. Great video, great person, and yeah, lots of stuff to learn from him. Lots of amazing videos. Check him out. So this last demonstration is a little thing that goes with the taking a snake out before cleaning it out. Now we're all in a rush. Some days we're in a rush. We see something that needs, like maybe a water bowl's empty. We need to fill it up. Maybe they pooped in the water bowl. You need to clean it out. But you're in a rush and now you just want to reach in and do it. But another thing, I'd ordered these to try to show you. I had planned a video about certain things that I do that can make life a little easier. But these cheap, crappy, doesn't even work. So the ones that, like at my work that we use, are Pilstrom tongs. They can pick up water bowls, big ones, even with water in it. But let's say I notice one that needs water. So with the actual Pilstrom tongs, you can reach in, grab the water bowl, take it out, clean it out, fill it up outside of the enclosure, and put it back in. Or you could put it in empty, even for a very heavy water bowl, and then pour in water. Now we've all done spot cleaning too, where there's just one little area that needs to be cleaned out. There's these other type of tongs that have the flat little I don't even know what they're called, but using that to scoop it out. So these are things that if I were in a rush, I would do instead of just reaching in. But here at my house, doesn't matter. I can take them out, clean them out. So I just ordered these again to show demonstration, but they don't work out like the actual tongs. But I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you learned something. Check out Dave Kaufman, and he has incredible stuff, incredible videos, traveling, finding animals out in the wild, just amazing videos. Subscribe. Big shout out to my channel members. If you'd like early access to videos or support, click the description. You can become a channel member. Check out my Instagram. There's merch, other things. I love you. I'll be back soon.